Whereas under section 1091A of the value added tax, cap 15.4 to the Act, it is provided that the Minister of Finance may, by order published in the Gazette, amend the schedule in the Act. And whereas it is further provided under section 1092 of the Act, that an order made pursuant to section 1091 of the Act is subject to an affirmative resolution of Parliament, except where the amendment is to the customs tariff headings only. And whereas the Minister of Finance was granted approval by the value added tax resolution of Parliament to approve draft value added tax amendment of schedules 1 and 3 order, starting instrument number 84 of 2023, to include in schedule 1 as zero rated goods for a period of 2 years commencing from the 2nd day of August 2023 and ending on the 1st day of August 2025, sanitary towels, pads and tampons, napkins and similar articles of any materials for a period of 2 years commencing from the 2nd day of August 2023 and ending on the 1st day of August 2025, a supply of components of photovoltaic systems intended solely for harnessing solar power under the specified customs tariffs. And whereas the Minister of Finance seeks approval of the draft value added tax amendment of Schedule 1, number 2 order to amend Schedule 1 of the Act by an affirmative resolution of Parliament to include in Schedule 1 as zero rated goods under the following customs tariff heading: sanitary towels, PD, pads and tampons, napkins and similar articles of any materials. For an additional period of 1 year, commencing from the 2nd day of August 2025 and end on the 1st day of August 2026, a supply of components of photovoltaic systems intended solely for harnessing solar power under the following customs tariffs headings: solar panel mounts, data loggers, complete systems, charge controllers and inverters, deep cycle batteries, communication cabling, Ethernet switches, protective devices, communication devices, cables, insulator switches, insulators, MC4 connectors, battery clamp junction boxes, combiner boxes, solar panels, direct current DC, alternative current AC cables, control devices, other DC and AC components, control components. Be it resolved that Parliament, by affirmative resolution, approves the draft value added tax amendment of Schedule 1, number 2 order, which amends Schedule 1 of the Act to include in Schedule 1 as zero rated items goods under the following customs tariffs: sanitary towels, pads and tampons, napkins and similar articles of any materials. Mr. Speaker, this resolution speaks to the zero rating of 2 sets of products. One, Mr. Speaker, PV systems, and the other sanitary products, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will deal with the PV systems first and then speak briefly on the amendments as they relate to sanitary products, and also inform members of the results of the zero rating of goods purchased in the supermarkets. So, Mr. Speaker, allow me to inform Cabinet that the Parliament is being asked to extend for an additional year, commencing 2nd August 2025 to 1st August 2026, the net effect of the amendments of Schedules 1 and 3 of the VAT Act and the amendments to the Income Tax Act, thereby lowering the effective cost of solar PV systems and consequently continuing to boost the level of adoption. Mr. Speaker, the amendments to the VAT Act refer to permitting zero rating of components critical to the installation of PV systems, while the amendments to the Income Tax Act allow for expenditures associated with PV systems to be classified as deductions over and above the 40,000 cap on PAYE deductions. Mr. Speaker, the desire to increase the level of adoption of PV systems is consistent with the Eastern Caribbean Solar Challenge Race to the Sun, led by the Caribbean Nationally Determined Contribution Finance Initiative. Mr. Speaker, in 2023, I indicated, and we repeat, historically, that solar PV prices in the OECS have been higher than the global average. In St. Lucia, solar PV prices an average of EC $7,000 per kilowatt hour, and consequently, most residential PV systems are offering in the region of 20,000 to 25,000. These prices are relatively high, and consequently, adoption has been low. Mr. Speaker, given the policy by this government, instituted in 2023, we have seen an increase in the adoption of the systems. However, we think that not sufficient time was given for most persons to take advantage of the initiative. Hence, the decision of government to extend the zero rating for a further year. Mr. Speaker, as we indicated, when the policy was introduced 2 years ago, the suggested amendments identify components by HS code that are directly related to the installation of PV systems and ensures that the VAT on these are zero rated. Mr. Speaker, most of these items currently enjoy low to no import duties, and as such, the VAT remains the only significant government charge. Mr. Speaker, we estimated that the suggested components amount to more than 50% of the typical cost of a PV system, and we believe, Mr. Speaker, that by removing VAT on these items, this will contribute to a material 12.5% or more reduction in the price. Mr. Speaker, in support of such a policy, I wish to share estimates done by the Department of Energy, which show that under the assumption of 500 households installing such systems, St. Lucia can reduce its annual carbon emission by 526.3 tons and save 1,800 watts of electricity and 44,226 gallons of diesel fuel annually. Mr. Speaker, the proposed amendments are anticipated to lower the cost of PV systems by 30.5% from an average of 7,000 per kilowatt or just 8,000 per kilowatt. This reduction, Mr. Speaker, the combined effect of the anticipated 12.5% reduction in the direct upfront costs due to the VAT amendments and the tax savings due to the income tax amendments. While we recognize, Mr. Speaker, that the tax savings will be received by the household only after they have filed their taxes, it still represents a savings that can be used to defray some of the upfront costs of PV systems. We anticipate, Mr. Speaker, that such adjustment will further increase the level of adoption and redound to some of the benefits mentioned above. Mr. Speaker, I also want to point out that this represents a first step in the direction of transitioning our energy mix, and the complementary proposals will be announced over the near to medium term. Mr. Speaker, you heard this morning the Minister for Infrastructure spoke of the Electricity Supply Act, and he indicated that considering the need for further consultation and discussion, the Electricity Supply Act will be read in this Honorable House at a later sitting, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, it is part of the government's position One, of reducing the importation of fossil fuels in St. Lucia, and two, reducing the cost of energy generally for St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, government is zero rating. That means there'll be no 12.5% on PV systems and the required components, meaning that the price to the consumer will be 12.5% less, Mr. Speaker. Further, Mr. Speaker, the income tax amendments mean that consumers can claim income tax allowances for the use of PV systems, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this flies and it shows that this government, accused of overtaxing with no evidence, another example of how government will continue to reduce the tax burden on citizens of St. Lucia who purchase PV systems, Mr. Speaker. Without any shred of evidence, Mr. Speaker, without any shred of evidence, Mr. Speaker, you hear the loud cries of the opposition of St. Lucia is overtaxed, Mr. Speaker. In the last budget, we again increased the allowable allowances for the income tax earner in St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, after we had increased the threshold, Mr. Speaker. And now further, we are zero rating a number of items, Mr. Speaker, including PV systems. Again, Mr. Speaker, if the evidence shows that St. Lucia's tax to GDP ratio is lower than most countries in the world and most countries in CARICOM, but the opposition continues, as usual, to make the claim that St. Lucia is overtaxed, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we see this is another piece of evidence, concrete evidence, that cannot be disputed of the government's position as it relates to taxation and renewable energy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move to the other part of the resolution. Mr. Speaker, it is very strange how members of the opposition can just get up and say whatever they want. Just say something, Mr. Speaker, and then their surrogates get very annoyed when you criticize them and you tell them they are not speaking the truth. Get very annoyed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, last night, a lady purporting to be a candidate for the opposition was on public TV. And when the defense will be made, Mr. Speaker, I want the defense to be made, or when the attack will be made on me for saying that, I want it to be repeated exactly how I said it. A lady was on television last night deliberately misleading the public of St. Lucia, saying to them that sanitary products, there was VAT on sanitary products, and asking the government to remove the VAT on sanitary products this week. Mr. Speaker, and if you doubt me, I will play the tape for you if you want to hear the evidence, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, do you think it's right for somebody to go on public TV and make such a blatant misrepresentation of the facts, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, in August 2023, we came to this honorable house and we zero rated all sanitary products, Mr. Speaker, in August 2023, and this expires in August 2025. And now in August 25, we are coming to this honorable house to say we are zero rating sanitary products forever. But these people will go on public television and with a straight face deliberately mislead the public, deliberately, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, the issue of sanitary products will not die. They will know that. Because, you know, there's a trick going around this country nowadays. That anytime you speak the truth, they tell you, don't attack this person, don't go in the past. Anytime you speak the truth, don't attack this person, don't go in the past. But they're allowed to say whatever they want. To say whatever they want, when they want, without proof, bring back their words, say they never said it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you remember, when in my budget statement, and I'm speaking about VAT on sanitary products, when in my budget statement, I made the point that the government, in an effort to reduce period poverty, was given to the Ministry of Education $250,000 in the first instance to help alleviate period poverty, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the opposition went crazy. They accused St. Lucia of being worse than Haiti. And Mr. Speaker, I would ask you, Mr. Speaker, to allow us to bring these recordings in the Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Because every Sunday, these lies are just say whatever they want, Mr. Speaker. I would like you, I beg your indulgence, to allow us to bring these recordings in the Parliament for the people of St. Lucia to help, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was accused of all kinds of things, making St. Lucia Haiti. Why in the world would that happen? And because even one of my colleagues, and you talk about disrespect to people, you talk about disrespect when the Minister of Education was Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Education, what was said about him, because his ministry was the ministry that would implement the policy of reduction of period poverty, what was said about him, what was implied about him, Mr. Speaker, I will not say in this honorable house. Out of respect for women, I will not say it, Mr. Speaker. No one said anything. Nobody said to the person who said so, a leading member of the opposition, nobody said to him, you should not say that, Mr. Speaker. No one said to it. No one said that to him, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they attacked and they vilified and they criticized. At that time, they were not thinking about, at that time, it was not convenient to speak about how we could help the women of this country. It was not convenient to speak about the mother who sometimes had to make a choice to send her child to school. The choice was between buying bread and buying sanitary products. At that time, there was no talk about dignity for our women folk. No talk about it. Convenience, truth, Mr. Speaker. No time for that talk. No one in the opposition said, this is a policy that should be followed because it leads to the dignity, helps the dignity of women, particularly our young girls, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we were taken apart. We were torn apart. No women in the opposition supported it. No women. Not one of them said, this policy, it will assist the people, the women and the young girls who can't afford sanitary products, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, today, we are very happy that our policy was followed by one of the larger and most prosperous CARICOM countries, Mr. Speaker. Our policy of VAT zero rating of sanitary products, Mr. Speaker, was followed by a country, Mr. Speaker, a country that all of us know well, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, it shows the barren nature and the opportunistic nature of the opposition in this country. When history shows that our policy of zero rating of VAT items was the correct policy, they pedaled back and said what they meant was they would make it better. It's the same way, Mr. Speaker. Every policy, they would do it, they should do it, and they could do it, Mr. Speaker. They always should and could do something, Mr. Speaker. They want the public to forget. They want the public to forget that they were in government for 4 years, for 5 years, and they've been stretched it to 5, a little more than 5, Mr. Speaker. And the policies that they promised, they never implemented. The policies that the manifesto never implemented, Mr. Speaker, and now they want to fool the public to say they would have done it because of COVID. They would have done it, Mr. Speaker. We'll have the discussion. And and this is why it's very early. They want to silence us, Mr. Speaker. And they accuse, Mr. Speaker, you talk about disrespect for women. So, Mr. Speaker, the domestic violence bill, Mr. Speaker, one of the government's initiatives, Mr. Speaker, about the protection of women, Mr. Speaker. In cabinet, last week, we increased the subvention to the crisis center, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we decide to pay facility fees for the children to go to school, that's to help the dignity of women, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we pay CXC for single mothers because they want to pay CXC for the children, Mr. Speaker, this is improving the dignity of women of this country, Mr. Speaker. No government. And very soon, we are going to make a statement where over 2,000 temporary employees, more than half of them women, will get permanent employment under the Lucia Labour Party. This is how we deal with the dignity of women, Mr. Speaker. This is how we did. We deal with it with words, Mr. Speaker, and deeds. With deeds, Mr. Speaker. And that's what I stand for, Mr. Speaker. That is how we do it. So this zero rating of VAT is another, Mr. Speaker, way in which we're going to improve the dignity of you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, the other charade is cost of living. Cost of living, the other charade, Mr. Speaker, cost of living. So much so, Mr. Speaker, that people deliberately mislead the public into what is the meaning of exempt items and zero-rated items. Deliberately, Mr. Speaker. The Minister of Commerce will go further into that issue, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I want very briefly to announce to you and to announce to this Honourable House that because of this government's policies, more than 70 items in the supermarket, the prices have been reduced, Mr. Speaker. More than 70 items in the supermarket, the prices have been reduced because of the government's policy of zero-rating items in the supermarket, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I will allow my colleagues to tell you some of these items, Mr. Speaker. But once and for all, the opposition, in their deliberate attempts to mislead, are saying to the public that out of these 70 items, some were already exempt, as if pretending that exemption is the same as zero rating. And there are letters. When I was Minister of Commerce, I'm just speaking, and that is why the attack must be on me. The attack must be centered around me. Must be centered around me. Because when I was Minister of Commerce, we got letters over letters. And I'm sure the Minister of Commerce in the opposition did get these letters of the private sector asking us to adjust the exempt goods, Mr. Speaker. And the Minister of Commerce will explain further. They didn't have the courage to do it. They didn't have the courage to do it, Mr. Speaker. The economy could not afford the loss of revenue because there was sluggish economic growth. But because of the performance of revenue, Mr. Speaker, because of the expansion of the economy, we can give back to the public the VAT that they would have paid on these items, Mr. Speaker. So we took the bold step. And the exempt goods, we zero-rated them, and those that were standard were also zero-rated, Mr. Speaker. 70 goods got this treatment, Mr. Speaker. And I'm sure my colleagues will go into more detail But I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, some of the biggest items that a reduction took place, Mr. Speaker. And they won't silence me, never silence me. They can't. Hunt's ketchup. It was $111.95. That's the big container. Right now, it costs $99.51, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, so what they want to do is to make you believe that didn't exist. That's not true. That's not true. I heard one of them say that the Grocery police station had to be built on the same site. Mr. Speaker, peanut butter, 794 grams, was $19.25. Because of this government policies, it's now $17.11, Mr. Speaker. Cheese, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 70 of these items. And you know, Mr. Speaker, as soon as they speak about their beliefs, the reality that they fail, Mr. Speaker, they fail to agree that this country has issues. Of course we have issues in this country. This country always has issues. Of course. And we admit that there are issues and we want to solve them, Mr. Speaker. But the truth, the reality is that under this government, our policies have impacted positively on the majority of St. Lucians, including the business sector, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, unemployment at its lowest ever, they denied. They say the figures are wrong. Tourism arrivals, higher than 29, they denied. They say the figures are wrong. Everything that is true is wrong because it happened under the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask members to support this resolution. I further ask members to indicate how the government's policies have impacted on the cost of living. We've indicated how the cost of PV solar systems will be reduced, Mr. Speaker. We've also asked the public, we also asked Mr. Speaker to look at our policies of zero-rated items, how it will impact the cost of living, Mr. Speaker. These are real policies. Policies not by word of mouth, but policies by word of action, Mr. Speaker. Action. So in the coming weeks, Mr. Speaker, you will hear the misinformation will be doubled, tripled, whatever, Mr. Speaker. The misinformation. It has started. Reduce VAT on make VAT on sanitary napkins zero-rated. When from August 2023, sanitary products were already zero-rated, and now this morning, August, we are going to zero-rate it with no time period, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I ask members to support this resolution. I ask the public to align themselves with the truth. Not everything you read in social media is correct. I want to say it again. Not everything you read in social media is correct. There are people who are trolls. There are people who use social media as a means to peddle lies and misinformation. It's a deliberate thing, Mr. Speaker. Deliberately stretching misinformation and peddling misinformation, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, the sanctimonious attitude, the pretense, Mr. Speaker, the pretense. We must listen carefully. I want people to listen to the words and the actions of the opposition. Listen. So the sanctimonious behavior of hear no evil, see no evil. I just came from heaven. That posture, Mr. Speaker, must be called out. And I know, Mr. Speaker, in the coming days and the coming months where the attacks are going to be, where the maliciousness will come from, Mr. Speaker. We are ready for it, Mr. Speaker. We're ready for it, Mr. Speaker. I will always represent the interest of the people of St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker, particularly the people of Castries East. I will always represent them, Mr. Speaker. And I want to tell them that this government cares about them. We put people first, Mr. Speaker, and together we must protect that victory so the people of St. Lucia can benefit from the policies of the St. Lucia Labour Party. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.